Welcome back to Orange Chat Reviews, everyone. Hope you are having a wonderful day. So, Mystery Review episode 108 is Kiss of the Dragon. It was guessed. The hints given were a 2000s cop movie. It takes place in France, good old Paris, and Bridget Fonda is in this movie, as well as Jet Li and Tcheki Cairo. So yeah, this is a great freaking movie. I absolutely love this movie. It's one of the best Jet Li films in my opinion, because when he was starting to try to get his foothold in Hollywood, Lethal Weapon 4 and the 1 just weren't cutting it. So he did this one, and this actually got him in there. Because there was a lot of critique about his other movies doing too much wire work, too much CGI and whatnot, and it just wasn't working very well. Well, this movie, they showed that he could do it without the wire work. And, I mean, one or two scenes has wire work, but that's about it. Where the rest of this movie is very visceral action. Anyway, before I get started, I want to say hello to the chat, but also if you are new here, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And if you want to be notified, make sure you turn on the notification bell. It helps you get notified for when my channel goes live. I also post on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it a lot in order to let people know when I'm going to be live. I am shadow banned on Twitter, so also click the bell over there to let you know when I have tweeted and whatnot. I know it might be a little bit of an inconvenience, but I also do let people know mostly my schedule and stuff there. Also, my schedule for the remainder of the week is today, this review. Tonight, I am doing the Barroom podcast on Society Reviews channel. I will also be doing tomorrow at 1:30 the mystery review that takes place after this one, and I will give the hints at the end of the stream, so make sure you watch through. Wednesday night, I am doing the second ones and twos with Mara Jade on her channel Jade Shadow, where we talk Ghostbusters 2. And then Thursday night, I got Thursday Singles with Mara Jade on my channel, where we are going to be discussing The Lost Boys. And then upcoming Sunday, is going to be Avengers Infinity War discussion with my Hat Crew. As well as Monday, Mayhem, we'll be talking Sharknado 5. God, 4 was a trip, man. I mean, it's like they just keep getting crazier and crazier. So now let's get to the chat. Hello to Netcat Media, good to see you. And Vanya, I know you're a Jet Li fan, so you're definitely going to enjoy this discussion. And I got some nice little behind the scenes trivia stuff for you folks. So without further ado, let's get into it. In 2001, director Chris Nahon released Kiss of the Dragon. Jet Li, Bridget Fonda, Tcheki Cairo star in this movie. They are the bigger stars. And it's about a film of a Chinese police officer getting framed in France and fighting to clear his name while helping a hooker get out from his enemy's manipulations. Now, a fun fact about this movie, Jet Li wanted to use acupuncture in the film because he has an acupuncture bracelet in here, because it was exotic enough that he knew it would wow Western audiences, which, believe me, they actually are masters of acupuncture, could do what Jet Li does in this film and basically use acupuncture like handcuffs, which is pretty interesting. It's all about reorienting the body, and even reorienting blood flow. It can also be used in very negative ways to kill a person. So we see him arriving in Paris, and he then arrives at his host's place, where he has a gun hidden in his bag from the plane, because he flew over from China, and he slices open the bottom of the bag, and this compartment comes out that is spilling out liquid nitrogen to keep it cool. And it's like, well, damn, that's a way of hiding from security purposes, you know? Pretty interesting way. I'm guessing it was used to fool metal detectors. I have no idea. So at the hotel, the scene basically does a good job with spycraft and whatnot. And then they're brought before Richard, who is Inspector Richard, played by Tcheki Caro. And I really do like these scenes because they show that the cinematography is very well done. And they also have a nice moment when he is at this little restaurant with the old man who is his host. And he's like, "Are you staying long?" "Not very long." I love how Jet Li is very, he has very little, or he says very little when he only says enough when he needs to, you know? It's very well done. And another fun fact is that this story was done by Jet Li and Luc Besson, and he wanted to get his break into Hollywood, when his initial attempts didn't wow the United States enough. That was, or I know I already said that, but that's also in the talking points. So the cop who beats people, I mean, I love how they introduce Richard. He is definitely a freaking corrupt cop because he's beaten the hell out of this freaking Chinese person. I mean, he's just constantly just wailing on him. And then he comes up and his face is just really pissed off. And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And he's not happy about this arrangement where the Hong Kong police force has basically sent their best in. He does not know very much that that this guy is bendable. So yeah. And I don't think I've heard of it, honestly. Well, now you have. It's a very good movie to watch. I really do enjoy this movie. Yes, he is very stoic in this movie. He's very stoic, or he does know how to convey emotions. He does it very well in other movies. But I like his stoic nature in this one. And he's also very, he almost has like a childlike innocence about him in his younger years. It really is cool. And so we are also introduced to the twins, which is Cyril Raffaele and another guy. How do you like the Luc Besson Jet Li cooperation? Danny the dog masterpiece, in my opinion. Is that the song Outlaw or the Dirty Dog or whatever it's called? I honestly have no idea. I did not know that they actually did a music video collaborating. I did not know that. I know the song's in here, but yeah. So we then see the operation in place. I mean, these twins, by the way, the muscular one and the little brother one, who is, at first, when I first saw this movie, I thought it was Ray Park. I honestly thought it was Ray Park, but it turns out it's somebody totally different. So it's like, ooh, it is going to be good. Jet Li versus Ray Park. I mean, sadly, it never happened, but, you know. So we then get on with the operation where they're looking for a drug kingpin from China named Sung. And that's when hookers come in, and one of them is Bridget Fonda, and she looks very nervous. I mean, let's see if I could find this fact in here, because they're not all, or yes, perfect. Bridget Fonda has seen a lot of Jet Li's earlier films and worked with Luc Besson before. So she accepted this role without even reading the script, something she had never done before. And apparently, it was kind of shocking when she came in, or shock to her when she came in to do the wardrobe test for a hooker in Paris. So it's like, wardrobe test. These clothes are kind of slutty. Well, you are playing a hooker. Oh. Probably should have read that script. But yeah, and the other woman is just absolutely freaking nuts. Basically likes being a hooker. And so we then get to the scene where they're in the room, and this woman is just snorting freaking coke off a table like it's gangbusters. And while Bridget Fonda's in the bathroom, this other one starts getting the guy riled up, sexually aroused and whatnot, and then she just starts stabbing him like a freaking psycho. And it's like, oh shit, you know? So Jet Li has to get in there through his guards because, well, damn, they need him to testify. They need him alive. And unfortunately, that's not the case. Well, we then see Richard come in after the guy's been stabbed and she's been detained and acupunctured against the wrist by Jet Li. And he comes in, and earlier he took Jet Li's gun. He's like, or he goes to shake the hand and he's like, gun, please. You don't need it. You're safe with us. Well, they turn it over. The movie, Danny the Dog. Oh, that's Unleashed with Morgan Freeman. Yeah, that's Unleashed, Vanya. Or over here, it's called Unleashed. And yes, I have seen it. It's a very good movie. Yeah. So, yeah. This, we then see him trying to call, and that's when Richard comes in, stop recording, tells him to stop recording, and he's like, we need to get him to a hospital. He doesn't want to go to a hospital. He wants to go to heaven. And then he shoots the drug lord, and then he shoots the prostitute. And the guys over there managed to get the killing of the drug lord on tape by Richard killing him. And it's like, oh shit, you know? And then he's like, why did you kill him? The question is, why did you kill him? Because he had his pistol that he uses, or he used Jet Li's pistol to kill the guy. And he realizes that it's a complete setup. And so when he turns around while his other guys are coming in, well, now he's vanished. I mean, Jet Li is just swift, man. He's like here and then gone. It's just like, whoa. So we then see him, or Richard, kicking the door to the bathroom where Bridget Fonda's throwing up in the toilet. And she starts freaking out, and he tells her to shut up. So we get this nice chase sequence throughout this hotel. And he's going down, then he's going back up. He gets the cassette. He sees the cassette tape where Richard is on the tape killing the drug lord. So he keeps that one and kills or destroys the rest of them. So it's like, yeah, that's good. You got the evidence you need to clear yourself when the shit goes south, because the shit has indeed gone south. And so he's running to get out there. And one of the guys that was down there that told him to go to the toilet in the restaurant to meet the other people to basically make sure he's not a threat. He's this pilot-looking dude, pulls out two freaking submachine guns and just starts shooting up the lobby in this freaking hotel. And I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't the cops have shown up here like really freaking quick? I mean, Paris or not, that would have earned you at least a very fast police presence. But that's not the case, because of he was under surveillance by a lot of people in that hotel. The hotel was basically cleared out as much as possible to allow almost everybody to be replaced by dirty cops and whatnot. So, yeah, we then see him hiding in a laundry chute. And I love that scene with the laundry chute, because they shoot upward and they're like, are you still alive there, Johnny? Hey, how you doing, Elena? Good to see you. And so I like how he kicks him in the face when he's looking through the bullet hole, and Jet Li just kicks him and basically gets his eye cut a little bit. So he's like, okay, you want to play? So he throws a grenade in there, with the timer. And I love how when you hear the grenade getting pulled, they cut to Jet Li like really close, like this close, and it's like he's reacting to hearing the grenade pin. So immediately he's timing he's timing it and realizes, oh shit. So as he's dropping down, he throws the grenade out into another guy that was gonna shoot him while he was dropping down, and it goes into the guy's sleeve, and the sleeve's like right here. And so Richard, the inspector, sorry, I got something on my arm here, and he grabs him, his own guy, and puts him into the chute and jams him there and jumps away when the grenade goes off. So you got one CGI shot out of this, which is the explosion. And then you have the scene where he's down in the lobby after he gets out of there. The best of us are also the worst of us. Yep, that's a line later on. And there's the billiard ball gag, which was another CGI shot. There's only 2 CGI shots in this movie. The grenade going off and the billiard ball stunt where he kicks a billiard ball out of the pocket and then kicks it into the forehead of the guy shooting at him. I'm doing all right. Come on. Oh, I happen to see it. Or see the mystery review. Thank you. And So he manages to get out of there and hide or get away from them all. And so then they're like, he got the cassette. Who cares? It just shows a fat degenerate with some hooker killing him. Except that one was still running. And I love how this cop frickin' just headbutts his own man. He's like, fuck! Crack! It's like, find him, tear the city apart. I don't care what it takes. And kill him? No, bring him to me. I'll kill him myself. I mean, it is great, man. So he has to get to a backup location, and he has this place where the lockers with the 2 cops, and he opens one which has a phone with a code on the back that has a code for another locker, and it happens to be right where the cops were standing. And I'm thinking, oh shit, dude, because this locker is full of guns. And so the cops see that it's full of guns, and they try picking him up. So he immediately does his martial arts on them and uses 2 acupuncture needles to knock him out and stand him against the locker. So he can't get to any guns. So now he's really fucked. So he has to get out of there. And this movie has a great pace. I mean, it just really keeps it going. It doesn't really slow down for much after the action really starts. And you see that 2 Chinese dignitaries show up at the French minister's office. And he's like, if we could be shown the facts, what's going on? And Richard twists it, saying that he went completely nuts, killed Sung, killed a hooker, and wreaked havoc in a hotel with other men. And if you guys could just share information about us or information about this man so we can find him and get this to a quick resolution. Well, when they share the information, it's great camera work because it shows a zoom in, like when they're talking, it's like going in like that, which is great to to really ram home what this guy is saying, because he was the top or one of the best trained cops we ever have. He is the best trained cop we have, are promoted 5 times, masters in martial arts, weapons and police tactics. He doesn't have any wife, no child. His only dedication is to his work. He is our best, which is why this is so confusing. And well, Richard really has to say, he's like, well, the best can also sometimes be the worst. Yeah, Richard picked the wrong person to basically frame. He tried to frame, he framed a perfect cop. A cop that is absolutely corruption free. So it's like, yeah, that didn't work out too well. And I love how they actually show Richard's face reacting to this. Or he can't exactly be like, oh shit, I fucked up. But his slight reactions, the small little nuances, the little mannerisms he has, says it all. It's like, oh shit, this was a very bad plan to begin with. But he goes along with it because he has no choice to. So he tells, or as the dignitaries are leaving, he's like, I want them followed. I want the phones tapped. Everything they say, everything they hear. I want to know everywhere they go and whatnot. And it's like, dude, spying on foreign dignitaries, never a good thing. If you get caught, you're fucked. So back at the host shop, or at Jet Li's host's shop and restaurant, he's learning from he's learning or talking to the owner about having to stay there just a little bit longer. And then it cuts right back to Richard at his own office, flipping out. And they're like, what about his hotel? The fuck never checked in. Oh, the fuck never checked in. And he's like, that means he has friends or family. Even better, tear this place apart. Have you checked Chinatown? It's very hard to be undercover there. Well, then put on a kimono and a wig. I don't care what it fucking takes. Just find a dude. He's freaking out because he realized he fucked up. Davian, good to see you. Hey, Orange, hope you're feeling better. I am. Thank you very much. Sorry that you overslept last for your Sharknado 4 review. It's okay, man. Kiss of the Dragon is an awesome Jet Li film, along with Unleashed. Yes, they both are very well done. So, we then are reintroduced to Bridget Fonda's character, how she is being fucked over. And I like how she actually does detect that she's getting really fucked over by this. Because he's like, I'm prepping a fix. And he's like, what's Max doing? He's prepping a fix. You want to taste? No, I told you I quit. She wanted to get out after she did this last job for him so that she could be with her daughter. Because he has leverage over her daughter. Or over her. And she's like, I don't want it anymore. I quit. And he's like, you don't tell me when you get to quit. I tell you. You don't tell me what you think. I tell you how to think. And then he shoots her up full of a freaking drug. He's like, how long before a lousy junkie like you betrays me for a lousy fix? And she's like, and it shows you just how freaking dark this dude really is. I think that Tcheki actually really enjoyed playing this role because he really does play it well. Another movie that I seen him in was actually he played a good guy, which was in the movie The Core, where he played one of the scientists, friend Aaron Eckhart. And I thought that he played a great role in that. I mean, he is a very good actor. He really does bring gravitas to to the kind of characters that he plays. When he's playing bad, he plays bad very well. When he's playing good, he plays good very well. Bridget Fonda is great and gorgeous in this film. Yes, she really is. It's just a tragedy that she is part of that family. So she gets put back to work in the same freaking alley that Jet Li happens to be hiding. And it's like, oh shit. So that's fortuitous. And she gets into a fight with another hooker who pushes her out, and she's like, I leave for 5 minutes and there's some other little skinny tramp parked in my spot. Fuck off. And she's like, oh, you want some more? And that's when she just freaking headbutts the fat hooker right in the freaking face. She's like, she broke my nose. And it's like, oh, she's high right now, folks. She's trying to get off the high. And she freaking headbutts the other hooker. And it's like, oh, damn, dude, that freaking had to hurt. And so Lupo, who is also seen in the movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as the guy that is also the dark version of Hyde, who drinks the entire frickin' formula and becomes this big old frickin' roided out freak one. That guy, he is in this movie as Lupo, and grabs Bridget, starts kicking her up against the shop where Jet Li is. He doesn't know who Jet Li is, even though he does work with Richard and Max, one of Richard's associates. And it's like, he's like, you are a fucking dog. And then so Jet Li is seeing this, and he's also, or the owner sees her standing outside the shop, and he tries telling her to go away, but he's like, please don't draw attention. She only hurts herself. And so he's like, all right, fine, I'll listen to you this time. And whatnot. So he goes to leave and calls her a freaking slut right to her face, basically. And he's like, they come into the shop asking to pee. Next thing I know, they're shooting up. You don't know these women. And so right after he leaves, she's kind of dolling herself up in the window. And then she comes in. Excuse me. Hi. Do you have a restroom? I need to be. No. It'll only be a minute. I really have to go. No. Okay. I love what she does. She starts squatting right at the frickin' door. What are you doing? Well, if you're going to treat me like a dog, I'm going to act like one. I'm going to pee right here. So he's like, okay, what? Just a minute. And so this guy comes in while she's in the bathroom and she's relieving herself. And she, apparently is feeling very good while she's high as a kite. And this guy that's coming in for an order is like, or he hears her and he's like, nice. So freaking Jet Li has to hurry that guy out. He's like, come back later. Come back later. You can pay me. Come back later. And whatnot. It is so freaking great. Chikaro is also excellent in this. He's brilliant in Crying Freeman as well. I'll have to look for it if I can. I believe he is also actually French too. Or Dabian, you can actually let me know. Is he French? I believe he is. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's always good to know for sure. So he's like, okay, miss, gotta leave now. Minutes are up. So he goes in. She's passed out cold. She's sleeping. And he's like, so he gives her a small little slap across, or a small little slap against the cheek to wake her up. So yeah, there is another fun fact. These are not in any order of the film or of the film's sequence. So this one is about something that I already did. So only 2 CGI shots are in this film, and there are only two wirework scenes. The billiard ball kick, or actually there's 3 wirework scenes. There's the laundry chute, which is 1 CGI, plus the second is the billiard ball kill. And the 3 wirework scenes are the same billiard ball kill. And yes, he is French. Okay, thank you. And another is a backward flip thing from Sirio Raffaelli. And another wirework thing is from when he fights the big black dude in the shop in a later scene. Because the black guy throws him up where he collapses down a wooden framing and whatnot. So he finally meets with the dignitary outside the shop. He finally gets called, and it ends up with the dignitary dying because when they were trying to get him out of the country, but because now Richard's men followed him and whatnot. So it's like, oh crap. So then we get the ferry fight, which is a great fight. I mean, this shows that Jet Li is no longer freaking gonna hold back. One of his countrymen and one of his closest friends in the work has been shot. So when the first guy he grabs, he brings down the gun down here, and they show the pants kind of do a muzzle flash, so you understand just what happened to this guy. This dude just had his nuts blown off, and the scream is freaking very convincing. Let's just say that. I almost would think that the guy may have actually got his nuts blown off. And 1 second, folks. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Just a message from a friend that I had to take care of. So, where were we? All right, so yes, when the guy got his nuts blown off, then he's able to, or basically the French version of a SWAT team. I don't know what they're called, but they're basically on the ferry to fight with him, and he's basically making them and just picking them apart. The fights in this movie are very visceral, folks. So when you see the hits, you actually feel that these are very contacted hits. Davian, you are French, I do believe. So what do they call like the French version of a SWAT team, special weapons and tactics, like the ones that go into a building to rescue hostages and stuff? If you know, please let me know. So we then see him escape under a bridge. He comes out into a tunnel. His arm is all freaking bleeding and stuff. Apparently he got injured or shot or cut in the tunnel, and he manages to escape away from there. And so Richard basically has to explain why there's another Chinese national killed on French soil, and he's blaming Jet Li's character again. So he's like, where are the effects? They want his effects. All right, send them a giant wreath of flowers. How much should I spend? He takes the money from the Chinese dignitary's wallet, this much, and it's like, fucking really? I mean, this is just how fucking much of a douchebag this dude is. And so he goes to the Chinese dignitary, tosses the effects down, and he's like, our diplomacy can only go so far. Now diplomacy is dead. I will find him and I will kill him. This man killed cops, essentially. Well, we then are back at the restaurant where he's talking with the old man and how he has worked with the Chinese government for years. He held 4 other agents come here to handle cases, and all of them have died. All of them had died, the last one in his arms. And he's like, I am hoping that in my lifetime, I can at least send one home alive. And so then he goes to leave for some disinfectant and bandages because Jet Li has the gash on the back of his arm. So we then see that Bridget comes in, asks if he needs any help sewing, and he's like, no. And so she's like, well, all right. Pretty soon it's going to get infected. And he's like, all right, fine. Just only if you sew it. So she's like, so she sews it, and they start talking about hookers. And she's like, "How? Or you ever been with a hooker? No, not even once. No. Are you gay? No. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem if you were gay. It's just, I'm not gay." It's like, fucking hell. I mean, I love how he reacts to this. He's like, "I'm not gay." It's just that he's like, my work is everything, basically. And so you learn that the hookers in France are basically doing like 25 a day, 15 a day at minimum. She's lucky to even get 5 a week. And I'm thinking to myself, well, holy shit. And we basically learned that Bridget Fonda was trafficked because in America, apparently, her family kicked her out because she was pregnant without a husband. And she kind of got trafficked when she went to Paris, and she met this French guy who we later learned is Richard. And she was trafficked into prostitution. So while she's going to leave after she shows up the arm, Lupo turns up and starts beating on her in the freaking restaurant and tells her to get back to work. And this is when Jet Li gives a great line. He's like, "I don't want to interfere in your business, but I would appreciate it if you don't do that again." And, I mean, I absolutely love this scene because the cinematography really does a great job at zooming into him really closely, or from a distance up to it, when he says, "Don't do that again." Oh, the little statue speaks. I don't care if you fuck her, you bleed on her, you're using her time, and her time is my money. You kept her busy for 20 minutes. Do you know the going rate for 20 minutes? 500 francs. And I'm thinking to myself, how much are francs compared to the US dollar? And so it's like, yikes. So he gives him 500. 5 for her time, now 5 for mine. And it's like, oh, great, the pimp is... So he gives him... So he gives him the extra 500. And it's like, ha ha ha, my kind of client. And so he goes to hit Bridget Fonda again. She's like, "Lupo, let's just get out." And he goes to hit her. And that's when Jet Li, I love this fight because it's very specific how he handles these guys. He goes, grabs the guy, drags him down by the arm he went to slap her with, and slaps him, rolls over, starts taking care of the other guys. Now, when Lupo gets up, he slaps him again, knocking him over. So then he tries getting up again. He slaps him again. He's bitch slapping him because it's like, you want to freaking treat her like a bitch? I'm going to treat you like a bitch, and I'll just bitch slap you. And so when he goes to slap him again, he blocks it, but then gets under and slaps him again really fast. When Jet Li does these moves, he does them really fast, folks. He is like that quick. And so when he is handling this, and to give you an idea of how fast he is, there's a scene in Lethal Weapon 4 where he rips a gun where he it's the scene right before he tears a gun apart, but he does a upside down, kicking both people out of the way, or kicking both people aside, where they grab their guns to point at him. He did that so fast, they had to slow that shot down just to get it right. I have to go now, Orange. Take care. See you for tomorrow's review in the chat. Thank you so much, Davian. 1:30 or the same time tomorrow. And so then after he takes care of those guys, freaking Gervais Peterson, who is a boxer, an actual boxer, he comes in and starts going after Jet Li. And you see him punch a wooden post. He pulls the splinters out of his hand. And he's like, just keeps going after, but eventually he loses to Jet Li. But Max arrives because one of the hookers called him because there was trouble in the alley. And we then see Max grab a freaking gun as the old man is coming back. And the old man's like, "What happened?" And that's when Max just opened fires, killing the old man, hitting a fuel tank in the restaurant, or throwing up dust and everything. And some chopsticks fell over. Where I love how he does this. He basically grabs the chopsticks in between. Let's basically use these things here like this. He grabs the chopsticks like this, and as the guy gets close, he just thrusts them really quickly right here into the dude's neck, killing him. Well, there goes Max, and Bridget Fonda's freaking out. She's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And he's like, respect his wishes. So he carries out the old man, and he does a incense funeral, which the Chinese do in their country. And we then learn from Bridget Fonda that Richard had, or as they're walking away, they're like, so what do we do now? I don't know. Walking helps me think. Walking hurts my feet. Then go home. Hey, you're the one that got me into this. I got you into this. You're the one who came into the shop to pee. You're the one who offered to sew me up. I didn't ask anything from you. All I want to be is left alone. And so they come up with the idea. He's like, can you take me here? She's like, and you see the flashbacks of her at the restaurant and all the other stuff that went wrong there. He's like, well, sometimes the best thing to do is to go back to the beginning. And she's like, you were there last night? Yeah, with the French cop. Richard? You know him? Yeah, I do. You can help me. You're coming to my embassy. No, wait, no, he has my daughter. He'll kill my daughter if I help you. Well, if I help you get your daughter, will you help me? So it's a hard bargain. So he goes, or she goes back to Richard, basically like she's selling him out, telling Richard a story of how she basically betrayed this crazy little Chinese guy, and the little fucker goes crazy and whatnot. And she thinks that he's going to give her a shot because he pulls out the same kit from the fix kit. Well, he only helps her with her eye because she's got a cut on her eye from Lupo beating her. And she tells him that he's at the Mandarin on a French street. I can't remember which one. And so he's like, or he cuffs her to a freaking heating pipe and leaves one guy to watch her. So it's like, yeah, what does a girl got to do to get fed around here? And so the other guy shows her what he's reading, and it's sex work. She's like, okay, but wait a minute, what do I look like, the village idiot? You go get me my sandwich, and then I give you your dessert. It's a great line. I really do like that. I mean, Bridget Fonda is really a great actress in this movie. She really does a wonderful job in it. I thought she did a good job in Lake Placid as well. But yeah, this movie, she really does bring out a lot of it. So she manages to get out of there, and also takes or freaking Inspector Richard has a pet turtle. So she steals the turtle in order to look like she is just passing by other people or other cops and whatnot. And she's also hooked to the pipe, so she takes a pipe too, and she escapes the other guy that was bringing her a sandwich and whatnot. So it's like, yep, she's out. So she also brings him the cassette tape that he got that he stole from Richard, because Richard gets it back when the dignitary grabbed it from him. So the cassette tape is now back in his possession. So he's like, now we go to the embassy. No, now we get my daughter. First we go to the embassy, then we get your daughter. No, I forget it. I'm not doing it. Not unless we go get my daughter next. And he's like, oh, all right, okay, fine. And he's like, relax your wrist. What do you mean relax your wrist? No needles. No needles, no. And then he pokes her with the acupuncture needle in just the right spot where he can then slip the handcuff off of her wrist. And I'm thinking to myself, How do you do that, man? I love that. No needles, no click, and that freaking things come right off. It's such a great scene. So they go to the orphanage. They find that it's a setup because the daughter's not there, and they knew that she would be going for the daughter. And it's the twins that are there with a couple of other guys. And so the big twin lifts up Bridget so that the smaller twin could do a finishing move, because he does that with the other Chinese guy in the beginning. He did the same with the other Chinese guy, where he does a very swift spin kick that breaks the victim's neck. Well, Jet Li sees that he's getting ready to do this and manages to turn off the light just as Bridget Fonda is kicking the bigger twin in the nuts. So they manage to get out of there. And it's like, oh, great. But they have to run away, and they end up jumping from a second floor high rise with the help of some sheets. And Bridget gets shot, so he gets her to a hospital. And this is where they have one of the best scenes in the movie. It's not an action scene. It's a kind of a dramatic scene between two characters where she is scared to death for her daughter now. Her daughter was there. Richard knows that. Richard knows. So he's got her daughter, and he's going to use her as leverage. And she's like, I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I just want my daughter back. I trusted you to get her back. For so many years, I've never trusted anyone, but I trusted you. Please help me get my daughter back. I mean, she is at this point hysterical, but not hysterical due to a lot of sedation. So he's like, you are tired, get some sleep. And he uses one of the acupuncture needles in her neck to put her out. So then this is where the final act starts. He calls up Richard, and he's like, I want the girl. I want the cassette. I gave the consent to my government. They will know what to do with it. Bad move, Johnny boy. Now you have no leverage. She's too old, or she's too young to work. This girl is all of 8 years old, and he's threatening to prostitute this girl out. Maybe not. What do you think? I think you need to look out the window. So he looks out the window and he sees Jet Li out there, and he's like, now I know where you are. I'm coming up. And so Richard starts freaking out. He's coming up. Sound the alarm. Get your asses out there. This is not a drill. Holy shit. And this is when Jet Li is in full Terminator mode. I mean, folks, there's Terminator mode, and then there's Jet Li Terminator mode. Jet Li Terminator mode is a lot scarier than an Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator mode, because when Jet Li goes in Terminator mode, he's not letting anybody get in his fucking way. So when he goes underneath a security checkpoint stopper, the guy's like, hey, monsieur, and he just kicks through the freaking wall, knocking this dude out. Like, oh, damn, dude, I'm guessing he probably busted that dude's hip, which probably broke the hip inward, possibly cutting off the femoral artery. That dude's probably going to bleed out and die. So, yeah, he's not fucking around. And he just starts going off on everybody in the freaking cop thing. And he cuts off into this dojo inside where the French police are training for stick fighting. Well, this is a fun fact. The dojo fight was supposed to be done over 3 days, but that was extended due to the brutality of the scene and how they had to do a lot more choreography in order to get it looking as brutal as possible. So when they are doing this fight, it was done properly because of the constant backlash that Jet Li had from his previous films of how the fights looked too CGI-ish and too much wire work. This was made more visceral, more brutal, and he is taking apart an entire dojo full of police, like 20 police officers who are black belts and sticks, and he is just ripping them to shreds, not literally, but holy crap, he does a great job in this scene. So when the other cops shoot their way in, they get in there and see a dojo full of black belts just on their asses, like, oh damn man, I can't get up, I'm hurting way too much. It was great. So then he gets up to the second floor and he hits the emergence or the lockdown mechanism. Well, the lockdown mechanism is dropping the gate or the metal gate too slowly for his taste. So he does a cross kick, which is right leg going across the body up here to take out the mechanism right here to drop the gate even quicker. So then he sees the younger twin, Cyril Raffaelli, get into a fighting stance, and then he's like, and it's like, okay, so he's moving forward, basically getting ready to fight him. That's when the bigger guy, I can't remember his name, is in back of him, and so he looks back, sees him, looks forward again. Well, the younger twin is gone, or the smaller twin is gone, and then he looks back and the bigger twin is gone. So it's a coordinated assault between the two twins. Whenever Jet Li is getting against the glass and led to one of these glass areas, the bigger twin throws a thrust kick outward, or a front thrust kick through the glass to kick him back into the fight. And it's a great fight, too. I mean, this is fast action, hardcore against two great martial artists, two very skilled martial artists. And he catches the younger or the smaller twin's foot, then throws it upward to try to put him back. But the twin does a back flip and kicks him, or does a double kick to his chest, launching him back into another window where the bigger twin is there to kick him back. Now, this whole fight is so freaking great, folks. And so when Jet Li is put on the ground, he looks over one way, looks over another way, and then beckons the younger twin. Well, he then maneuvers the twin into a bottleneck area where when he goes to throw a kick, it's stopped by a table leg. And so he hits him backward. So he goes to throw another kick, and he's stopped by another freaking table leg. And that's when Jet Li gets the upper hand, where he's throwing several punches, but he stops, throws out his fist or his hand like this, or he throws his hand out like this, hits him, because the guy actually looks at the hand. He's like, what? Oh, crap. He's distracting him several times with that hand. Punch, 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 hand, punch. Punch, punch, hand, punch. Punch, punch, hand, punch. Punch, punch, hand, punch. Punch, hand, punch. Basically keeping the guy unable to guess what's about to happen with the punch or with the fake out. And so this guy's like backed up against another window, and Jet Li's like, come on. And he's like, oh, you come here. Come on. And so he is once final fight bit here, and he finally he grabs his leg again from a kick, and he throws his leg up, so he sees that the smaller twin's about to do that wheel kick again, so he gets under, grabs him down, thrusts his body downward while it's upside down, and snaps the dude's neck on the floor. Well, bigger twin comes in, sees his little brother dead, goes postal. Just throwing, this guy is huge, dude. He is like 7 feet tall. And he's strong. So when he's throwing kicks, this dude is like Dolph Lundgren size. He's throwing hard kicks and he's throwing hard punches. Jet Li's blocking him. But when Jet Li gets close enough to launch a barrage of fists, he's just like punch, 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 bum, 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 bum. And the guy's just standing there, grabs Jet Li by the throat, doosh. It's like, fucker. And so Jet Li is like, okay, time to change this up. He moves out of the way, gets into the window areas lets the guy kick through a window, grabs his leg, puts his leg through the or around the pole to drop the dude down, throws his head through another window, and then finally gets the guy onto his knees and hits him a couple times, cracks him like this, like boom, to discombobulate him even further. Because when you get hit like this, folks, if you go for a person's ears like that, their ears are going to ring. Believe me, I know I've had that done to me. It hurts. It's very disorienting. If you are used to hearing somebody, you get cracked in the ears, clapped in the ears like this, you are going to be disoriented. There's nothing you can do. You're going to be like, what the, whoa. I mean, the whole room, or it's an instant dizziness. Because you're also kind of seeing spots too, because it's like getting hit in the face. So yeah, so then it gives him a chance to just really build up his anger and just deliver a cross kick across, or hard enough to snap the dude's neck. And as he's walking by, the body just falls over after. So he kicks in the last door to Richard, and Richard has the daughter with a gun on her. And he's like, Johnny, you come to Paris, and instead of enjoying yourself, you're doing all this foolish running around. I don't like to get bored. Neither do me either. And so he goes to shoot the girl. He's like, wait, you are making a big mistake. Oh, really? In the second it takes for you to kill her, I will have all the time I need to kill you. And that's when Richard, or if you go to my channel and look at the live broadcast tweet, you will see the scene play out where he goes to shoot him. He shoots him in the arm. As he drops the girl, he pushes the gun out of the way, pulls a needle out from his acupuncture needles, and gets behind him and kisses him on the back of the neck. And Richard's like, I got you. Yes, you did. But I also got you. And there's a needle right in the back of his neck here. And now Richard can't move. And so he goes to the little girl. He's like, Isabel, I'm a friend of your mom. He hands her the necklace that her mother has. Can you please wait outside? Okay. Well, instant trust if you have the necklace to somebody like that. This is my mom's. I know this is my mom's. This person isn't lying. I mean, they could be, but at that age, you're not thinking that complicated. So he goes and says she goes to leave, and she turns to Richard, goodbye, mister. And so she leaves the room. And so he stands up to face him, and he's like, what did you do to me? I put a needle in your neck. That's it? All the blood in your body is moving up to your brain. It stops there, never comes down. And pretty soon it will come out of your nose, your ears, and even your eyes. And he tells him it's in a certain point. It's very forbidden. It's called the kiss of the dragon. He's like, kiss my ass. And then he explains that bit. So then he pulls the needle out after the blood is already stored up there. And he's like, you're a clever man, Johnny boy. My name is not Johnny. And then he leaves, tosses the needle. And so then you see Richard is still trying to move, and his veins are starting to really pop out in his skin, but then the blood starts flowing. This is a very violent death, folks, like very violent. And he finally dies because the blood just flows out of his ears, out of his nose, out of his eyes, and whatnot. It's violent. So a fun fact on this, the acupuncture kill at the end of this movie is based on real things. There is acupuncture techniques that can reorient blood flow, but not to the extent of the film's expression of Richard's death. So then we get to all is well, and the daughter's returned. He wakes her up by pulling the acupuncture needle out, and she's like, my daughter? And he looks over there. She is very thankful, and that's the end of the film. Now, this film, objectively, has some cutting issues. You feel like there should be a few extra scenes that they should have left in. This movie is only an hour, like 38 minutes. So I feel that this movie could have benefited from like an additional 7 minutes of stuff in there. And I just feel that the cutting and the pacing is really well done. The acting, really well done. The writing, really well done. Except that they did cut a couple things out, I feel that they would have benefited the film a little bit better if they probably were put in to keep a little bit more in there. Because this movie does end on a great note, but it's like you wanted a little bit more in there because this is a great movie. So objectively, this movie is a 8.5 out of 10. Solid film. Solid action film. The SJW Rotten Tomatoes people are like, this is just senseless violence and whatnot. It's like, fuck you, man. But subjectively, this is a 10 out of 10. I love this film. I really do like Jet Li's, or I do like this movie. It tells a great story about a cop who gets framed, but is easily able to, because of his outstanding record, is able to basically prove very easily that he is not responsible for what he did, especially with the proof that he had. So, moviegoer, this movie is fast-paced. It gets great after the slow beginning. It has a slow build, and then it kicks off into the action really well. It keeps it going all the way through. Moviegoer, I would say that this movie is a 9.5 out of 10. The small beginning is where you might feel a little bit bored at first, but then, boom, it really kicks it, and you were just on the edge of your seat the whole time. I really do enjoy this film. So, hints for tomorrow. The hints for tomorrow is a 2010s cop movie. What am I thinking about right now? And Mama. Those are your hints, folks. Pretty sure you will know what that movie is tomorrow. It is one of the best freaking comic book movies out there, in my opinion. I really do think that it is well done and should have gotten a sequel in the 2010s decade. Unfortunately, it didn't. Anyway, folks, thank you so much to Davian, Vanya, Elena, and Netcat Media for tuning in. Stay tuned for tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. where I will do that mystery review. And stay tuned for tonight for the Barroom Podcast on Society Reviews channel. It's going to be great because we're talking another thing that I talked about. So, yeah. Have a wonderful day, folks. This has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.